Hey man, how's it going? I was just on my walk. Figured I'd check on you. Merry Christmas, by the way. I had some things on my mind. Thought I'd run it by you. The therapy thing. You asked if I thought it would be helpful. I suppose it can be, but I got to tell you my experience. It really hasn't been. And the thing I've been surprised and disappointed about is I feel like if there was somebody that was just dedicated to talking to me about my life and how I'm feeling about it and stuff, that might be beneficial, because as a middle-aged guy with a wife and kids, I'm sad to say that nobody's really too interested in my problems or my feelings or anything like that. My relationship with most people in my life is more about what I can provide them. And really, like, most of them seem downright uncomfortable with my feelings or thoughts about my own life. So I feel like that would be beneficial to have somebody that's dedicated to doing that. But, and maybe I've just been unlucky, but I've tried several therapists, and to my surprise, they actually don't really want to talk to me. They usually just say that, oh, so what we do here is cognitive behavioral therapy. We don't really do all this stuff dwelling on your past and your life and stuff. We give you this handbook, and it teaches you essentially how to think right. And you go home with the handbook and you read it and you do the exercises, and you pretty much just kind of like give yourself therapy. And the first time I ran into that, I was like, okay, well, these people are just horrible. I'm going to try someone else. But then I try somebody else and they do the same thing. I'm like, huh. So this seems to be what therapy is now in modern times, despite the fact that you see on TV and movies and stuff that it's usually talking to somebody about your problems and then maybe giving you some kind of feedback. And I just watched a YouTube video where the guy was talking about other things, but he touched on his therapy session, and he started describing how his therapist talks to him. She asked him how he was doing, and then based on his response, she started asking follow-up questions. I was like, see? So it seems like he has the kind of relationship with a therapist that I'd like to have, but I've never been able to find somebody that's interested in that. Now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's me or I'm just having bad luck or what. But I pretty much gave up on therapy a long time ago for that reason. It's like, if I'm going to be paying you all this money and you're just going to tell me to get a handbook, well, I can just get the handbook for $10, save myself a lot of money. If you're literally, that's all you're going to do. And then I go in for another session. They're just like, did you look at the handbook? Okay, good. It's like, okay, what exactly am I paying you $150 an hour for or whatever? So I don't know. Yeah, I think, so I'm not going to say that therapy won't help you, man, but I would also say that I think a lot of people exaggerate how much it's going to help. I think a lot of people, because they themselves haven't had mental health problems, so they don't really know what it's like. They just have this image in their mind of like, okay, well, you break your arm, you go to the doctor, they set it, and you're good. It heals up. So if you have depression, anxiety, any other number of problems, you go to a therapist, and they fix you up. And it does not work like that. Not in my experience. So for what it's worth, that's my experience, but I'm not arrogant enough to think that my experience is the answer. So it's possible that you'll find some great therapist and it'll be a great thing for you. It is possible, I suppose, but it hasn't been my experience. What does help? Well, I don't know, man. I'm probably the wrong person to ask, to be honest with you. What does help? Jesus, I don't know. Well, I don't think anything helps a lot, to be honest with you. But I think some of us are just wired, and sometimes I take an arrogant view of it when I say that some of us are just wired to feel this way. Now, some of it's because of childhood abuse. I've had that. Some of it's just you're not a winner, you know? You're not a very attractive person, and you're not a very intelligent person, and you're not a very personable person. And that impacts your mental health, you know, because you feel that. You feel the way people interact with you based on that. And that's why sometimes I'm skeptical of therapy. Like, therapy isn't going to change that reality. So any advice I could give you, I think, is probably only going to help on the margins. But exercise does help. You know, it helps in a number of ways. I think, just like people say, the chemical aspect, it helps. But it also helps self-esteem wise, because even though it's not going to make you charming, it's not going to make you popular, it's not going to make you attractive as far as how your face looks, but it will give you more confidence in how your body looks, and it'll give you a sense of accomplishment if you're putting in the work. Even if you have terrible genetics for fitness, if you put in enough work, you're going to see some kind of results, and that feels good. You know, it does. And I know that's hard. Like, if you're really depressed, if you're like clinically depressed, man, the last thing you want to do is go exercise. But I'm telling you that if you can somehow muster the strength and just do it for a few weeks, no matter how much it sucks, and no matter how much you don't want to do it, I swear to you, as someone that, I don't bullshit, right? I've pretty much told you some hard facts right here in this video. I haven't blown smoke up your ass one bit, man. But that is one thing that actually will help. So yeah, exercise. And from a mindset thing, I mean, who knows? Maybe these CBT therapies will help you. The handbooks and stuff, I mean, I guess it's worth a try. It's like $10. I've never really stuck with it, to be honest with you, but maybe it'll help you and you will stick with it. But I think, but one thing from CBT sort of, is remind yourself that you think you're a realist, but you might not necessarily be a realist, because just thinking everything is negative is not being a realist either. Thinking everything's great and positive all the time isn't being a realist. But just being negative all the time is the same side of the coin. There's something in this life that you love. At least one thing. I'm sure there's actually probably hundreds. But focus on one thing that you just love. Like, I love history. I love fitness when I get into it. I love music. And just because life sucks doesn't mean there isn't something worth living for. There isn't something that you love that people can't take from you. And hell, that thing you love might not love you back. Like, I've made serious efforts at having a YouTube channel in the past. This isn't it. But in the past I have. And it didn't love me back, you know? But when you think about it, just the fact that something doesn't love you back doesn't mean that it wasn't worth loving in the first place, you know? Same thing, I mean, pretty much everything that I love, you know, history. I didn't make a career in history. I don't think anyone considers me an authority on history. I don't think anyone cares about any of my history opinions, but they can't take away the fact that I love history, the way it makes me feel, reading about certain things in history that I enjoy. So just think about that, man. I mean, you know, I'd give some serious thought to what it is you're missing, what you need, and how to achieve it, you know? Just because you're full of emotion doesn't mean that you can't try to think logically about solutions. You know what I mean? And I guess that's it. That's the best advice I got for you. But hey, just hang in there, man. Keep your head up, you know? I'm in the same boat you're in. A lot of people are. And in a very real sense, the whole human race is in the same boat. We're all stuck on this rock together, and there's only one way we're getting off it. We're all born to die. So in a very, very real sense that you might not think about sometimes, you're not alone. You're really not. Take care.